Chapter 31 Daoyuan Shengling Pool. You are listening at novelfull.audio. On the other side of the sky, Chen Luo slowly walked over with a plate of dried Millennium Spirit fruit in his hand. The surrounding peak masters were stunned and looked at Chen Luo not far away. Xu Yuewu's eyes lit up when she saw Chen Luo appearing, and then she walked in the direction of Chen Luo. Did you really go collect the spiritual fruits? Xu Yuewu looked at the dried spiritual fruit in Chen Luo's hand and said suspiciously. Yeah, otherwise what do you think I'm doing? Chen Luo smiled slightly. Li Wudao next to him also turned his head, saw Chen Luo and the dried spiritual fruit in his hand, and his eyes froze. It's really dried spiritual fruit. This kid really went to collect spiritual fruits. Senior Sister Xu, do you want to try it? Although it is only dried spiritual fruit that has been dried for thousands of years, it tastes very good. Chen Luo looked at everyone with something wrong in their eyes and continued. What? Dried spiritual fruits made from thousand-year-old spiritual fruits. Xu Yuewu was a little stunned. Immediately afterwards, he unconsciously picked up a piece of dried spiritual fruit and tasted it. Suddenly, a delicious fragrance and extremely rich spiritual power exploded in Xu Yuewu's taste buds. It was really a thousand-year spirit fruit. Xu Yuewu looked at Chen Luo in front of her and felt a little dazed. You, prodigal son, actually used Millennium Spirit Fruit to dry the dried spirit fruit. Xu Yuewu said. The curve of her chest was turbulent, as if she was angry at Chen Luo's manipulation. The corner of Chen Luo's mouth twitched slightly. He eats spiritual fruit every day, why don't he eat it in a different way? Otherwise, how could I finish the meal? Xu Yuewu said while quickly destroying Chen Luo's dried spiritual fruits. As soon as Xu Yuewu's words came out, the other peak masters around were stunned, and then they all came to Chen Luo's side and tried Chen Luo's dried spiritual fruits. Wokeo, junior brother Chen is so awesome, he actually used Millennium Spirit Fruit to dry the spirit fruit. It turns out that dried spiritual fruits can be so delicious. I've learned a lot. I have to say that junior brother Chen will enjoy it. Thousand-year-old dried spiritual fruit. He is such a talent. How could I not have thought of it? Because you are poor. Many peak masters commented while tasting Chen Luo's dried spiritual fruit. The thousand-year spirit fruit is an extremely precious spiritual fruit that contains extremely rich spiritual power. Although many peak masters cannot afford it, drying dried spiritual fruits will cause a large loss of spiritual power. Although they can afford spiritual fruits, they really cannot afford dried spiritual fruits. Chen Luo smiled and did not comment. Then, Chen Luo prepared some for Li Wudao. Li Wudao did not refuse and tasted some. Brothers, if there are any disciples with outstanding talents later, please give them more opportunities. Don't dare to say anything else. Just take care of the dried spiritual fruits. Chen Luo then said to everyone. Many peak masters agreed with smiles. They are just some disciples. Tianzhu Peak is in need of manpower now, and they all know Chen Luo's strength now, which can be described as unfathomable. Moreover, at such a young age, he will definitely have a bright future. Junior brother Chen, this dried spiritual fruit of yours is not freshly put away at all, it has no heat at all. Xu Yuewu said quietly to Chen Luo. So, obviously, Chen Luo just left to deal with Song Yanmu. Although I don't know what the outcome will be, Chen Luo's unscarred return is the best proof. Senior Sister Xu, just eat it if you like, no matter when he collected it. Chen Luo then said. Immediately afterwards, everyone was eating dried spiritual fruits in the sky while watching the trials of many trialists below. Ding, it has been detected that the host has a strong desire to strengthen Tianzhu Peak, and now the task of recruiting disciples is issued. Within 3 days, 3 disciples with the qualifications of a saint will be recruited. The task reward, Daoyuan Shengling Pool. At this moment, the system's mechanical sound sounded in Chen Luo's mind. The system has released another task. Let me recruit 3 disciples with the qualifications of a saint within 3 days. Chen Luo raised his brows. There was nothing wrong with the mission, but what was this principal source ascension spirit pond? The Shengling pond that contains the origin of heavenly Tao. Path source ascending spirit pond. The ascending spirit pond contains the power of the origin of heaven. Only one person can be immersed in it at a time. Soaking in it for 7 days can transform the mortal body and ordinary cultivation physique into a spiritual body. As if sensing Chen Luo's doubts, the system's mechanical sound sounded in Chen Luo's mind again. It can transform an ordinary body or a mortal body into a spirit body. Chen Luo's eyes lit up. He didn't expect that there was such a treasure, although there are many practitioners in the ancient continent. The spirit body is still a powerful one. All spiritual beings, as long as they do not die young, have the qualifications to achieve the state of sainthood. With this principal spirit ascension pond, he can obtain 4 apprentices with the qualifications of a saint every month. Then, these apprentices will practice again and return the training results. Chen Luo's heart was pounding. This was an artifact worth no less than an imperial weapon. It must be taken down, and it must be taken down hard. With this, the disciples who create a large number of saintly appearances will not be able to improve their own cultivation. However, you still have to complete the task first. Chen Luo then suppressed his thoughts and prepared to complete this task and recruit 3 disciples with the qualifications of a saint. Senior Sister Shu, have you seen any good seedlings? Chen Luo then walked to Shu Yuewu's side and asked. At this time, Shu Yuewu was wearing a purple dress, her delicate cheeks looking straight at the trial below. Chen Luo stood beside her, and there seemed to be a faint scent like musk coming from Shu Yuewu's side, invading Chen Luo's nose. Well, of course there is. You see, those 2 guys look good. They have already climbed to the 800th floor in less than half an hour, far ahead of others. These 2 are probably going to reach the top. Shu Yuewu crossed her arms and looked at Huayun Tian and Yi Chen, who were steadily rising on the 800th floor below. After hearing this, Chen Luo looked at the 800th floor of the ladder, and indeed saw 2 young men. Name: Huayun Tian, age, 19, realm, 5th heaven of creation realm. Identity: heir of the magic pot, a disciple of the Xuanhuan sect in the central region, who was later defeated by the ancient Saint Xiaofan and left the Xuanhuan sect. Constitution: devouring demon body. Qualification: holy product, great sage, heir of the magic pot. Defeated by the ancient saint body, the devouring demon body, is a guy with the potential of a great saint. Chen Luo narrowed his eyes slightly. Is it another destined supporting role? The ancient saint body is considered a relatively strange physique in the ancient continent. Although the name is very loud, it is cursed by the heaven and cannot practice at all. It is even more ordinary than the mortal body. This Huayun Tian was actually defeated by the ancient saint body. Could it be that Xiaofan broke the curse of heaven and earth? Chapter 32. Both reached the summit. You are listening at novelfull.audio. It must be, otherwise, it would be impossible to defeat Huayun Tian, who possesses the element-devouring demonic body. From this point of view, Xiaofan's method is not simple, can break the curse. However, it doesn't matter, it has nothing to do with me. I just want to recruit some disciples. Chen Luo had thoughts in his heart. Chen Luo then looked at another young man in white. Name: Yi Chen. Age 20, realm, 6th heaven of creation realm. Identity: the second young master of the Yi family, a sect of saints in the central region. Physique: innate sword body. Qualification: holy grade. Qualification of the great sage. The second young master of the Yi family in the central region has an innate sword body. Chen Luo's eyes lit up. He was another person with the qualifications of a great saint. Yes, 2 top talents were discovered at once. The innate sword body is also a terrifying physique, and has a very high degree of compatibility with the sword. He is a natural swordsman. Chen Luo thought in his heart that he had to find a way to capture these 2 disciples. After taking these 2 disciples, and then taking over a disciple with the qualifications of a saint, the task of recruiting disciples will be completed. The performance of these 2 people also attracted the attention of many other peak masters. Many peak masters looked at the 2 of them with extremely fiery expressions. Wherever a disciple with such talent could be found, he would be a hot commodity. Although people with good talent may not necessarily be able to grow, it is still easier to grow than those with lower talent. Even the sect leader Li Wudao looked at each other sideways, looking at Yi Chen and Huayun Tian, who were far ahead. The 2 of them had already climbed to more than 900 floors, and were not far from reaching the 1000th floor. Many other trialists below also looked at the 2 with envy. Everyone could see that these 2 people should be the 2 with the strongest talent and strength in this apprenticeship ceremony, and they were far ahead of the others. However, as the 2 climbed higher and higher, their speed also began to slow down. the higher you go on the ladder, the more powerful the mental pressure and spiritual pressure you endure. Even if both of them are geniuses with amazing talent and strength, it is still unavoidable. Damn it, those two guys have reached such a high level so quickly. If I were also in the creation realm, I would easily surpass you. On the 600th floor of the ladder, there was a fresh girl with twin ponytails. Her whole body was filled with domineering spiritual power, resisting the pressure around her. The girl is petite in stature, but she is very explosive. Every time she jumps, she goes up several floors. Her speed is much faster than others at the same stage. The girl's performance also attracted the attention of many people. After all, she looks young, but her talent is indeed amazing. As time passes slowly, many trialists have reached the 500th floor and passed the assessment. Not everyone can move forward and continue to hit higher levels. There are many people whose talent and strength are not enough to reach higher realms. The 500th and 600th floors are just their end points. There is no point in continuing to attack high-level people. Such people account for the vast majority. Many trialists who passed the assessment were arranged to the Cloud Square on the other side, waiting for selection by other peak masters. The area of Xuanhuan Plaza is also extremely lively. Cloud Square is a suspended square opened in mid-air by Daotian Sect. This is where the testers who have passed the examination stay. There are many testers who have passed the examination waiting here. There are hundreds of thousands of trial participants who participated in the assessment, including people from various places in the eastern region and even people from other major regions. There are 9 huge stone tablets in Xuanhuan Square, all of which introduce the various situations of the 9 major branches of Daotian Sect. The trial participants who came to participate all had a good understanding of Daotian Sect. However, the stone tablet now belonging to Xuanhuan Peak has been temporarily shrouded in inexplicable power, becoming extremely dim and without any information. I want to join the strongest Daoyuan Peak. Only by joining the strongest branch can I become the strongest expert. Haha, Daoyuan Feng, do you think Daoyuan Feng wants you? It's just reluctant. You have to work hard to pass the test. With such a talent, you should go to Tianzhu Peak. Yes, there are only 2 people in Tianzhu Peak now, and it has almost declined. As long as you go, I will definitely ask you. Shabi, which peak is important? The 9 major branches of Daotian Sect are all top-level inheritances that have been passed down for tens of thousands of years. There is no strong or weak distinction at all. There are no branches of waste, only practitioners of waste. I understand. Many of the testers in the Cloud Square were extremely excited and talking about it one after another. They are all looking forward to their future. After all, Daotian Sect is the top first-line sect under the Holy Land. Joining it, for ordinary people, is no less than a carp leaping over the Dragon Gate, gaining power in one fell swoop. Moreover, Daotian Sect treats all disciples in the sect equally and will not treat you differently because of your prominent status or ordinary status. Yes, hundreds of trialists have passed the examination now. This time our Daotian Sect can grow again. Above Tianyun Mountain, the peak master of Lingxiao Peak said with a smile. Yes, those who can climb the 500th floor of the ladder are basically all of Xian grade talent, and many are even of Earth grade or even Heaven grade talent. It has been a long time since so many good seedlings have appeared. The peak master of Daoyuan Peak also spoke. Many peak masters began to look at those who passed the test. Those are the backbone of their sects in the future. Chen Luo also looked at the other end of the Cloud Square and used his system function to explore. He found many Earth grade and even Heaven grade disciples. Even 2 Saint grade disciples were found. It seems that it should be quite simple to complete this task. After looking around, Chen Luo also had a lot of confidence in his heart. There are still disciples with Saint grade qualifications. It is not too difficult to recruit 3 disciples in this disciple recruiting ceremony. After all, qualifications only determine your upper limit and make your road to becoming a strong person smoother, but whether you can become the top strong person still depends on your personal opportunity. Everyone, those 2 people are about to reach the top. A voice sounded. Everyone looked at the top of the ladder. At this time, countless brilliant lights appeared at the top of the ladder, and the dazzling light kept flowing on it. Hua Yuntian, who was dressed in black, and Yi Chen, a man in white, were both standing on the 999th floor of the ladder. They were only one step away from reaching the top. Boom! After a moment, a terrifying force erupted from both of them. With this terrifying force, the two of them stepped into the top of the ladder at the same time. Chapter 33: The Choices of the Two. You are listening at novelfull.audio. As the two people climbed to the top, bursts of mysterious power appeared at the top of the ladder, invading their bodies, nourishes their spirit and body. Although they reached the top, the terrifying spiritual pressure and mental pressure still put a lot of load on their bodies. Now, after being baptized by the mysterious power of the ladder, both of them are much better physically and mentally. The two then slowly walked forward. Congratulations to both of you for successfully reaching the summit. Now, you can choose to join the branch. After the two people climbed to the top of the ladder, a soft voice came. Huayuntian and Yi Chen looked forward. The peak masters of each major branch had now reached the top of the ladder. The peak masters all looked at the two of them with fiery eyes. The seedlings that reached the top had only appeared once in many previous trials. That person is none other than the contemporary leader of the Daotian sect, Li Wudao. After him, there was no one who reached the summit. Now, two people appeared again, which did not make many peak masters eager. I believe that you have already learned about the major branches of our Daotian sect before participating in the trial. I will not introduce them one by one. Each branch has its own characteristics. You can choose at will. However, once you choose, it just can't be changed. Li Wudao's figure appeared in front of Yi Chen and Huayuntian. Behind Li Wudao were numerous peak masters. You should know the name of our Daoyuan peak. Joining our branch is the best choice. The master of Daoyuan Peak said calmly, his eyes full of disdain. Our attacking skills at Lingxiao Peak are unparalleled. If you join our branch, I can accept you as my direct disciples and teach you personally. Lingxiao Peak said. We have many female disciples in Mingxia Peak, and all of them are unparalleled in beauty, you know. Shu Yuewu smiled slightly. The peak masters of each major branch spoke out, wanting the two of them to choose their branch. Yi Chen waited quietly on the side, respectfully listening to the words of many peak masters, without any change on his face. Huayuntian was much bolder. He looked at the major peak masters in front of him and sensed whether there was any abnormal movement in the magic jar fragments in his mind. That's not right. Why, the fragments of the magic jar didn't move at all, and Huayuntian's heart sank. Sect Master, may I ask who it was that displayed that terrifying sword intent just now? Yi Chen then asked respectfully. The major peak masters looked at each other. That sword intention. That is the Tianzhu Peak master of our Daotian sect. He should be here soon. Li Wudao continued slowly. Master Tianzhu Peak. Yi Chen's eyes lit up. Is there any peak master who hasn't come yet? Huayuntian felt relieved. So let's see if it was the Tianzhu Peak master. If not, then joining Daotian sect may not be the best choice. Immediately afterwards, neither of them was in a hurry to make a choice, but waited and thought about it. Many peak masters didn't care. They had already said what needed to be said. Whatever choice the two made was beyond their control. After a while, a stream of light appeared not far away. A young man who was as handsome as an immortal flew over quickly. Behind him, there was a stunningly beautiful woman with a graceful figure in a purple dress. Junior brother Chen Luo, you are finally here. I have been waiting for you. Shu Yuewu said to Chen Luo with a smile on his face. That is the master of Tianzhu Peak. Li Wudao said to Yi Chen next to him. Huayuntian was completely attracted to Chen Luo at this time. The fragments of the magic jar in his mind kept shaking. It's the master of Tianzhu Peak. I came right. The one the magic jar fragment wants me to choose is Tianzhu Peak. I want to join Tianzhu Peak. Huayuntian said without hesitation, his eyes full of determination. As soon as Huayuntian's words came out, many peak masters around him, including Yi Chen, were stunned. This Tianzhu Peak master hasn't said anything yet, so why did he choose Tianzhu Peak master? Chen Luo himself was also a little dazed. He had just asked Li Yener to pick several thousand-year spiritual fruits. He wanted to use the 10,000-year spirit fruit to attract these two people. Unexpectedly, before I made a move, someone was already impressed by my own peerless appearance. could it be that my domineering spirit has reached this point? Chen Luo coughed slightly and looked at Hua Yuntian. I found that Hua Yuntian's eyes were firmer than ever before, and he was obviously extremely determined. Since you are willing to join me at Tianzhu Peak, then you can become my master and become my direct disciple. Chen Luo then said solemnly, looking straight at Hua Yuntian. Master, please bow to me, my disciple. Hua Yuntian bowed his head without hesitation. Since you are willing to worship me as your master, this thing can be regarded as a small gift from my master. Chen Luo smiled slightly, and then took out a ring from his space ring that exuded rich spiritual power and fragrance. The 10,000-year spirit fruit. The moment the 10,000-year spiritual fruit appeared, the spiritual energy in the entire area suddenly rose. The rich fragrance and spiritual power made everyone present feel that the spiritual machinery in their bodies was constantly running. 10,000 years spirit fruit. Junior brother Chen Luo, what a great gesture, 10,000 years spirit fruit. This is a 10,000-year-old spiritual fruit. I haven't seen it for a long time. Junior brother Chen Luo is so lucky. No wonder, dried 1,000-year-old spiritual fruit turns out to be such a treasure. The surrounding peak masters spoke one after another, their eyes full of eagerness. The 10,000-year spirit fruit is extremely precious and contains terrifying spiritual power. It is very arrogant even for saint-level masters. Chen Luo actually gave it directly to his apprentice. He was really generous. Thank you, master. Hua Yuntian also had a flash of heat in his eyes. I didn't expect this master to be so generous and give the 10,000-year spirit fruit directly. This is your senior sister, Li Yener. Chen Luo gave the 10,000-year spirit fruit to Hua Yuntian and introduced Li Yener to Hua Yuntian. After Hua Yuntian took the 10,000-year spirit fruit, he also bowed to Li Yener respectfully. The surrounding peak masters congratulated Chen Luo on receiving a good apprentice. After Hua Yuntian became Chen Luo's apprentice, the magic jar fragments in his mind stopped moving and returned to normal. Ding! Congratulations to the host apprentice for breaking through to the realm of creation, and reward the apprentice with a gift package. At the same time, the system prompt sounded in Chen Luo's mind, another big gift package. It seems that this gift package is available as long as the disciple's cultivation reaches the realm of creation. Chen Luo thought to himself, let's open it later, and see if he can get Yi Chen's S-card first. Yi Chen, what's your choice? Li Wudao then looked at Yi Chen. The other peak masters around him also looked at Yi Chen eagerly. Now, Hua Yuntian has already belonged, and there is also Yi Chen, who is also determined by his talent to reach the top. I choose. Yi Chen looked at the many peak masters in front of him. Chapter 34 The Third Climber. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Finally, Yi Chen also looked at Chen Luo. I choose Tianzhu Peak. Yi Chen's voice rang in everyone's ears. Chen Luo's eyes lit up. It seemed that sending him the 10,000-year spirit fruit was still effective. Without saying anything, he just attracted another genius with the qualifications of a great saint. In this case, just complete 2 of them and accept another disciple with the qualifications of a saint. It's Tianzhu Peak again. My God, junior brother Chen Luo, you are really. Junior brother Chen Luo, wait a minute, you can no longer pick the trialists in the Cloud Square. What you promised before does not count. You have already chosen 2 extremely good young talents. That's right, I got 2 apprentices with the talent to reach the top in one fell swoop. You won't be able to pick first later. The peak masters nearby spoke one after another and looked at Chen Luo with extremely envious eyes. However, this was Yi Chen's own choice, and Chen Luo had the 10,000-year spirit fruit, which was a huge advantage. Moreover, they also recognized Chen Luo's strength, although they didn't know how strong Chen Luo was. However, the assassin of Shura Palace was solved by Chen Luo, and Song Yanglin was also beheaded. This strength is really strong. No problem. Chen Luo smiled slightly. After many peak masters had just enjoyed Chen Luo's dried spiritual fruits, they all agreed to let Chen Luo choose the outstanding seedlings first. Now that Chen Luo has directly accepted 2 extremely talented disciples, he naturally doesn't need them anymore. Immediately afterwards, Chen Luo also accepted Yi Chen as his direct disciple, and at the same time presented him with a 10,000-year spiritual fruit. Moreover, the system also gave a great gift package to the apprentice. When Chen Luo took out the 10,000-year spirit fruit again, everyone's eyelids jumped wildly. They thought there was only one Chen Luo, but now another one appeared. Come on, everyone, this is the Millennium Spirit Fruit from our Tianzhu Peak. I asked my disciples to bring it over for everyone to have a taste. Chen Luo then took out a bunch of Millennium Spirit Fruit. The entire area was once again shrouded in endless spiritual power. Many peak masters were rude and ate the spiritual fruits that Chen Luo took out. Eating Chen Luo's spiritual fruit brought everyone closer to Chen Luo. Chen Luo didn't care about these spiritual fruits. After more than a month of signing in, there are now many thousand-year spiritual fruit trees in Tianzhu Peak. There were quite a few of them that Chen Luo was too lazy to plant. They were still in the system space and had not been taken out. It is quite cost-effective for Chen Luo to be able to use some spiritual fruits that he doesn't care about to improve the relationship with other peak masters of Daotian's sect. After all, Chen Luo wanted to gain a foothold in Daotian's sect and manage his own Tianzhu Peak well, and have a good relationship with the peak masters at the same level. It was always right, not far away. Huayun Tian and Yi Chen looked at each other. This master is a bit fat. Does he seem to be carrying so many thousand-year spiritual fruits with him? Second junior brother, third junior brother, you should eat some too. Li Yener also took out some spiritual fruits and handed them to Huayun Tian and Yi Chen. Both of them took it respectfully and tasted it. Senior sister, why don't you eat? Yi Chen Jian and Li Yener continued to ask without any intention of eating. I don't want to eat now. Li Yener blinked and continued. Li Yener is at Tianzhu Peak, eating spiritual fruits every day to practice. Now, when I see the spirit fruit, I feel. I really don't want to eat it at all. Huayun Tian and Yi Chen didn't pay attention, and continued to eat the spiritual fruit, absorbing the spiritual power of the spiritual fruit to improve their cultivation. Yes, with 2 more apprentices, the speed of cultivation will increase dramatically. Chen Luo felt extremely happy as he felt the increasing spiritual power in his body. By the way, let's see what's in this gift package. Chen Luo remembered that he had just given out 2 large gift packages. I just have time now to take a look. Opening the apprentice gift package, Chen Luo thought silently in his heart. Ding, the gift package is being opened, please wait. Ding, congratulations to the host for obtaining the top holy level skill, the Spirit Swallowing Heavenly Demon Sutra. Ding, congratulations to the host for obtaining the holy level high-grade martial arts and the Demon Spirit Heaven Shaking Seal. Ding, congratulations to the host for obtaining the holy level middle grade elixir, Lingyuan Holy Pill * 100 bottles. Ding, congratulations to the host for obtaining the top holy level skill, the Holy Spirit Innate Sutra. Ding, congratulations to the host for obtaining the holy level high-grade martial arts, the Wild Sky Sword Technique. Ding, congratulations to the host for obtaining the holy level middle grade elixir, Lingyuan Holy Pill * 100 bottles. It seemed that Chen Luo's eyes were slightly misty as the martial arts of these 2 disciples suited him. Leave it alone for now and hand it over to them when you return to Tianzhu Peak. There won't be another summiteer today, my God. At this moment, a burst of exclamation interrupted Chen Luo's thoughts. The peak master of Lingxiao Peak could no longer hold the spirit fruit in his hand, and looked straight at the ladder. At the same time, other peak masters also looked at the ladder. In the area on the 800th floor, a fresh girl wearing light green trousers and twin ponytails was slowly heading towards the top of the ladder. Although the speed is not fast, every step is extremely determined, and the majestic mental pressure and spiritual pressure around her cannot stop her steps at all. Chen Luo also looked at the girl and turned on his system exploration function. Name, Mu Luoli. Age, 18 years old, Realm. Nirvana Realm Second Heaven, Identity, the 9th Princess of the Phoenix Clan, Physique, the body of a divine phoenix, Qualification, Divine Grade. Chen Luo was stunned for her divine cultivation qualifications. Mu Luoli, the 9th Princess of the Phoenix Clan. Those with divine cultivation talents have the potential to become great emperors, but a little girl with divine talents actually appeared. Is there any mistake? A guy from the Phoenix clan came to Daotian sect, a sect that was not even a holy place, to study under him. Chen Luo was a little confused. Could it be that Daotian sect is really some hidden top sect? The Phoenix clan is one of the most powerful demon clans in the ancient continent. Its strength is not inferior to some of the top Holy Land level forces, and is even stronger. At this moment, a sharp phoenix sound suddenly came from the body of the girl who was climbing the ladder to heaven. The sound soared straight into the sky, making the entire sky seem to be filled with dazzling light. Many peak masters at the top of the ladder felt their hearts throbbing. This little girl is not simple. She has a terrifying power in her body and her potential is limitless. Yes, that aura, I just checked it out, but I felt a little bit frightened. This little girl has a great background. We need to carefully consider her ownership. Many peak masters were talking in low voices, looking at the girl with a solemn look. At this moment, a phoenix shadow suddenly appeared behind Mu Luoli, and Mu Luoli's steps to climb the ladder suddenly accelerated. Shushwashua. After taking a breath, Mu Luoli reached the top of the ladder in an instant. Chapter 35 Mission completed. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The peak masters were all staring blankly at the girl who suddenly appeared in front of them. What happened? How did she come up so quickly? Wasn't she still on the 800th floor just now? How did she reach the top in an instant? Chen Luo was also looking at the girl in front of him. Just now, he sensed a terrifying power in Mu Luoli's body. It was that power that allowed Mu Luoli to cross the stairs and reach the top in an instant. I'm sorry, I just accidentally stimulated the blood power in my body. Otherwise, I will climb again. Mu Luoli looked at the many peak masters who were looking at her with a strange look on their faces, and then said faintly, climb again. Everyone's eyelids were twitching, and they wanted to climb again. Little girl, are you a member of the Phoenix clan? Li Wudao, who was not far away, continued to say slowly, looking at Mu Luoli. The many peak masters around frowned. From the Phoenix clan. Master Li, that's right, Xiao Jiu is from the Phoenix clan. At this moment, a clear voice came from not far away. A stream of light flashed, and suddenly, a middle-aged man in a brocade robe appeared in front of Li Wudao, clasping his fists. Name, Mu Dongming, age, 983 years old, realm, 8th heaven of Saint King realm, identity, elder of the Phoenix clan, constitution, body of the heavenly phoenix. Qualification, Saint product, qualification of the great saint. Is it an elder of the Phoenix clan? Body of the heavenly phoenix. Chen Luo narrowed his eyes slightly. It seems that he came with the little girl of the Phoenix clan. May I know who you are? Li Wudao asked, staring at the middle-aged man who suddenly appeared in front of him. Then, Mu Dongming introduced his and Mu Luoli's identities, as well as the situation he was facing now. It turned out that the lineage that Mu Luoli belonged to was now experiencing changes, and they wanted Mu Luoli to join the Daotian sect. Originally, Mu Dongming wanted Mu Luoli to hide his identity and keep a low profile to avoid causing too many emergencies. Unexpectedly, it was accidentally exposed in the end. So she's from the Phoenix clan. No wonder she's so talented that she can reach the top. That should be the blood power of the Phoenix clan. It's so strong that it completely crushes everything. Yes, the little girl from the Phoenix clan has such a strong talent. Many peak masters discussed, looking at Mu Luoli with great curiosity. As one of the top demon clans in the ancient continent, the Phoenix clan has a noble status and powerful power. They rarely appear in the eastern region of the ancient continent. Even in the most prosperous central region of the ancient continent, there are very few Phoenix clan members. I wonder if your sect can accept Xiaojiu. When Xiaojiu successfully completes his apprenticeship in the future, our Phoenix clan will definitely reward him. Mu Dongming continued, looking at Li Wudao in front of him respectfully. Originally, Mu Dongming thought that Li Wudao was just an ordinary Saint realm expert, but now it seems that this Li Wudao is not simple. Of course, no problem. As long as you pass the assessment, you can join our Daotian sect. Li Wudao continued to say, neither servile nor arrogant. Chen Luo raised his eyebrows. This sect master was quite courageous. If this little princess of the Phoenix clan joined Daotian sect, there would definitely be trouble. He allowed her to join without any hesitation, which obviously showed that he had the means to do whatever it took. Since Sect Master Li is willing to accept Xiaojiu, I am relieved. Mu Dongming said with a slight smile. Mu Luoli, who was not far away, was also relieved. If she could not join because she exposed her strength, it would be troublesome. The other peak masters around had different expressions. Although the members of the Phoenix clan were very talented, not all of them had the ability to teach. Miss Mu, you have successfully reached the top of the ladder, and you can choose any branch to join. Li Wudao then looked at the beautiful girl not far away. Mu Luoli nodded, then bit her red lip slightly and looked at the many peak masters around. When she saw Chen Luo, a light suddenly lit up in the girl's eyes. Tianzhu Peak Master, as expected, this is the handsome little brother. I've decided, it's you. I want to join Tianzhu Peak. Mu Luoli continued without hesitation. Everyone looked strange. This Tianzhu Peak Master accepted 3 top talents in one day. One of them is from the Phoenix clan, so strong. However, not many people are envious, although they are indeed envious of the first 2 disciples who reached the top. However, this little girl from the Phoenix clan is obviously not someone who can be easily subdued. If I really accept this little girl, I will probably have a lot of headaches in the future. Chen Luo blinked his eyes. It's me again. Junior brother Chen, it seems that your charm is extraordinary. Xu Yuewu glanced at Chen Luo and continued. Chen Luo's mouth twitched slightly. This really has nothing to do with me. I haven't exerted my strength yet. She came to me by herself. Master Chen, I wonder if you are willing to accept Luo Li as your disciple. Mu Dongming then looked at Chen Luo. No problem, Luo Li, since you want to join, I will accept you as my 4th direct disciple. Chen Luo pondered for a moment and continued, this kind of disciple with divine cultivation talent that comes to your door for free should not be rejected for nothing, even if there are some troubles. As long as you become stronger fast enough, troubles will not be troubles. Disciple Mu Luo Li, meet the master. Mu Luo Li then saluted Chen Luo respectfully. Just now, your 2 senior brothers accepted my gifts, so you can't be left without them either. Take this 10,000-year spirit fruit. Chen Luo then took out a 10,000-year spirit fruit and handed it to Mu Luoli. 10,000-year spirit fruit, this is different from what he investigated. Mu Luoli was a little confused. Didn't they say that Tianzhu Peak was so poor that only the peak was left? How could they offer a 10,000-year spirit fruit? Mu Dongming also looked at Chen Luo in surprise. This was different from the result of his investigation, but Mu Dongming didn't care. He asked Mu Luoli to join Daotian's sect to find a place to live. As for whether he could learn anything, Mu Dongming didn't force it. Thank you, master. Mu Luoli suppressed his thoughts, then took the 10,000-year spirit fruit and said respectfully. The other peak masters were already numb at this time. Another 10,000-year spirit fruit. Ding, congratulations to the host for completing the task of accepting disciples, and rewarded with Daoyuan Shengling pool. At the same time, the system prompt sounded in Chen Luo's mind. Good, good, I finally completed the task. With this, I can mass-produce disciples with saintly qualities and quickly improve my strength. Okay, I won't wait here with you. I'm going to Xuanhuan Square to select disciples. That's right, the 3 good seedlings were all taken away by junior brother Chen Luo. The good seedlings in Xuanhuan Square can't be missed. I'll go too. Quickly take a few disciples with saintly qualities to calm down. Chapter 36 A Little Lesson. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Soon, some of the peak masters at the top of the ladder left here and went to the Cloud Square to collect other disciples. Chen Luo didn't care. Now that he had completed the system task and had the Daoyuan spirit upgrading pool, Chen Luo didn't have too many ideas about the talents of his disciples. It didn't matter if they were selected first, he could upgrade his spirit bodies in batches. Brother Chen Luo, congratulations, you have 3 disciples with such great talents. Your Tianzhu Peak is really going to rebuild its glory. Xu Yuewu came to Chen Luo and smiled. Talent doesn't mean everything, Sister Xu, don't go to the Cloud Square to collect some disciples. Chen Luo asked. Xu Yuewu stretched her waist, and the beautiful arc was immediately exaggerated by this action. Don't worry, what's mine is mine after all, and what's not mine is useless to force, everything is up to fate. Xu Yuewu said with a smile, / Brother Chen, don't let her talk nonsense, she has already sent her disciples to choose. / The master of Xiaoyao Peak not far away said faintly, Chen Luo. Old man, will you die if you don't destroy my stage? Xu Yuewu glared at Xiaoyao Peak master and said fiercely. Xiaoyao Peak master's eyelids twitched wildly. This Mingxia Peak master was too tough. Yes, I can also let Yenner choose disciples. I'm too lazy to find them myself. Chen Luo's eyes lit up. Besides, Li Yenner was the true disciple of Shuilan's sect before, and she is also quite familiar with these things. Now that the task is completed, there is no need to be too strict in selecting disciples, no need to look at qualifications. As long as the character is good enough, it's okay. Their own Daoyuan Shengling pool can improve their talents. / Yenner, take 2 junior brothers to select some disciples. Talent is secondary. The main thing is to look at the character. Also, don't be too old. / Chen Luo then turned around and said to Li Yenner and the 2 new disciples. Yes, master. Li Yenner nodded, and then took Huayun Tian and Yi Chen to Yunhuan Square to select disciples for Tianzhu Peak. Not far away, Mu Luoli was obediently beside Mu Dongming, and it was obvious that Mu Dongming was explaining something. Soon, the sect master and the masters of other peaks also left, and only Chen Luo, Mu Luoli, and Mu Dongming were left at the top of the ladder. Master Chen, Luoli is in your hands. If she is naughty, beat her up. After a while, Mu Dongming finished explaining the matter and then slowly said to Chen Luo. Mu Luoli stood beside Chen Luo, obedient and cute, like an exquisite porcelain doll. Don't worry, I won't be polite. Chen Luo smiled slightly. Chen Luo would not spoil her just because she was the princess of the Phoenix clan. She still had to be beaten. This is a token of our Phoenix clan. If you encounter a crisis that cannot be solved, you can crush this token. Soon, someone from our Phoenix clan will solve it. Mu Dongming then took out a fiery red jade pendant and handed it to Chen Luo. This jade pendant was engraved with mysterious runes and a phoenix pattern, which looked quite extraordinary. Chen Luo accepted it without hesitation. Then, after Mu Dongming explained some things, he left directly. Chen Luo and Mu Luoli were the only ones left at the top of the ladder. Not long after Mu Dongming left, Mu Luoli's eyes showed a cunning look, staring at Chen Luo. Let's go to the Cloud Square and pick some disciples from Tianzhu Peak. Chen Luo then said to Mu Luoli next to him. Master, do you have a Taoist partner? Mu Luoli ignored Chen Luo's words, but came to Chen Luo's side, hugged Chen Luo's arm, and shook it gently. A warm touch permeated Chen Luo's arm. There were also bursts of faint fragrance that permeated Chen Luo's nose. Not only that, there seemed to be an extremely mysterious power in Mu Luoli's body, which was constantly flowing around Chen Luo. This force seemed to arouse some emotions in Chen Luo's body, but it was easily resolved by Chen Luo. Luoli, if you do this again, I will beat you. Chen Luo turned around and said to Mu Luoli seriously. Master, what are you talking about? Did I do anything wrong? At this time, Mu Luoli was standing tall and graceful, holding Chen Luo's arm, blinking her big eyes, and looking at Chen Luo innocently. There was still some difference in their heights. Chen Luo lowered his head slightly and could see the slightly undulating arc under the light green skirt. The delicate appearance made people feel particularly pitiful. Chen Luo raised his eyebrows, pretending with me, right? It seems that I have to teach you a lesson. Pa. Then, Chen Luo stretched out his palm and slapped Mu Luoli's, but directly, a slapping sound rang out, and Mu Luoli suddenly felt a pain. Woo, master, it hurts. I dare not, I won't use the charm spell. Mu Luoli cried, her face flushed, and she quickly put away her charm spell. It turned out that Mu Luoli used her charm spell to disturb Chen Luo's mind. However, Chen Luo practiced the Daotian divine art, and these spiritual perceptions were extremely obvious, and he was discovered by Chen Luo in an instant. Mu Luoli begged for mercy in a tender voice. But Chen Luo obviously would not let her go easily, if she is not guided to the right path at such a young age. What will happen in the future? Although Chen Luo did not use spiritual power, Chen Luo's chaos divine body was extremely powerful, but the physical power was not something that Mu Luoli could easily bear. Soon, Mu Luoli's eyes were filled with tears. She bit her red lips and looked at Chen Luo. She looked charming and pitiful. "Master, I don't dare anymore, I really don't dare anymore." Mu Luoli cried so hard that her face turned red with embarrassment and she felt strange, or spank her ass. "If you use this method against me next time, it won't be as simple as spanking you a few times." After a while, Chen Luo stopped without saying anything. "This little girl looks delicate, but feels good in the hand," Chen Luo muttered in his heart. "Yes, master, I understand." Mu Luoli bit her red lips slightly and looked at Chen Luo pitifully. Her pretty, reddish face and eyes full of resentment looked extremely thrilling. Although she is just a young girl who has not yet fully blossomed, she already has a hint of the aura that will captivate a country. Mu Luoli seemed to have a strange feeling in her heart again. This feeling of being beaten, it seemed. "Okay, let's go to Cloud Plaza and have a look." Chen Luo then said to Mu Luoli. Mu Luoli nodded obediently, not daring to make another mistake. Chapter 37, The Sixth Level of Saint Realm. You are listening at novelfull.audio. As time goes by, there are more and more testers who have passed the test. Of course, there are also many testers who have no hope of passing the test and have left Tianzhu Mountain directly. Many disciples in Cloud Plaza also joined various peaks under the selection of major branches. "Yener, what's going on now?" Chen Luo came to Li Yener's side and asked. Mu Luoli was by Chen Luo's side like a well-behaved kitten. "Master, a total of 5 disciples with holy qualifications were found in Xuanhuan Square, but they were all taken away by other peaks. I only recruited some disciples with heavenly and earthly qualifications." Li Yener looked apologetic. "The way, have all 5 disciples with holy qualifications been taken away?" Chen Luo raised his eyebrows, then looked around. It was discovered that there were 40 or 50 disciples under the stone tablets of the other 7 major branches, and some of them had particularly outstanding talents, reaching the level of saints. Daoyuan Fang even has 2 disciples with saint qualifications. On the other hand, under the stone tablet at Tianzhu Peak, there were only less than 20 disciples, and none of them had saintly talents. There are only 3 people with heaven level cultivation talents, the others are earth level and Xian level. Although the branches in Cloud Plaza choose their disciples, the disciples are also selective to a certain extent. If the disciple selected by the branch is unwilling to join, he can still have a chance to be selected by another branch. It's okay, don't worry about talent, just pick someone who is young and has a good temperament. Chen Luo then ordered Li Yener. "Yes, master, I understand." Li Yener nodded, and then followed Chen Luo's instructions to find qualified disciples. Chen Luo waited here boredly, while looking for any other good seeds that had been missed. However, after walking around, I found that these peak masters have very vicious eyes. Disciples with saintly and heavenly qualifications were all selected away, and most of the remaining ones were earthly and mysterious. These old foxes. Chen Luo shook his head slightly, after knowing that he couldn't pick up the missing ones. Chen Luo also stopped searching and waited on the other side of the Cloud Square for the end of the apprenticeship ceremony. Mu Luoli seemed to be frightened by Chen Luo's previous behavior. She was very obedient and followed Chen Luo all the time. She patted his back and shoulders, served him tea and poured water, and looked like a pure and charming little maid. People from the Phoenix tribe would definitely be shocked if they saw Mu Luoli being so well behaved. Although Mu Luoli is young, pure and charming, he is a little devil who is feared by everyone in the Phoenix clan. "Master, this is the Fengling tea unique to our Phoenix clan. Please taste it." Mulo Li brewed a cup of Fengling tea that exuded a rich fragrance and brought it to Chen Luo. This spiritual tea exudes a rich fragrance and looks extremely refreshing. Chen Luo looked at the girl in front of him and felt extremely satisfied. Sure enough, she still needed to be beaten. Immediately afterwards, Chen Luo drank the spiritual tea held by Mu Luoli in one gulp. After drinking the spiritual tea, a surge of spiritual power immediately circulated crazily in Chen Luo's body. This spiritual power was so fierce, Chen Luo felt as if there were countless flames burning in his body. The spiritual power containing scorching energy seemed to ignite Chen Luo's spiritual power, causing Chen Luo's spiritual power to increase rapidly. Hint of cunning flashed through Mu Luoli's eyes, asking you to spank me, this will let you taste my power. This Fengling tea is Muloli's unique tea. It contains the extremely domineering Phoenix spiritual power, although it has great benefits, however, the Phoenix spiritual power contained in it has extremely strong flame power. Drinking this tea is an extreme test of physical strength and cultivation. If you don't have enough preparation, it can cause a lot of trouble. This tea has such overbearing spiritual power. Chen Luo's eyes are slightly misty. Under the raging power of this Phoenix spiritual power, Chen Luo feels that his spiritual power seems to have increased a lot. Immediately afterwards, Chen Luo activated the Chaos Emperor mysterious scripture, and the terrifying Phoenix spiritual power was absorbed by Chen Luo in an instant. After a while, Fenglinka's spiritual power was completely absorbed. Chen Luo's cultivation reached the middle stage of the 5th level of Saint Realm in a short period of time. Yes, this tea tastes good. Do you have any more? Chen Luo then looked at Mu Luoli next to him. Mu Luoli, seeing the master in front of him who showed no movement at all and even looked forward to it, Mu Luoli became a little excited. What is going on? I used this tea to deal with the Holy King level elders in my clan before, and it always made him extremely uncomfortable. Why, when I arrived at master's place, nothing happened, and moreover, I still wanted. Master, yes, I still have some here, as many as you want. Mu Luoli then gritted his teeth and said. Immediately afterwards, Mu Luoli made another cup of Fengling tea. I didn't believe it. This time I added more, 1 cup, another cup. Half a quarter of an hour later, Chen Luo had already drank more than a dozen drinks, and the spiritual power in his body had reached its peak, and he was only 1 step away from the 6th level of the saint. Any more? Chen Luo then looked at Mu Luoli expectantly. He didn't expect that this little princess of the Phoenix tribe had such a good thing. Master, this is the last cup, there really isn't a drop left. Mu Luoli was about to cry, and then took out the last bit of stock and made Chen Luo a drink. This Fengling tea is considered a rather rare treasure among their Phoenix clan. Mu Luoli was planning to keep it for cultivation when she reached the Saint Realm, but she didn't expect that it was directly drained by Chen Luo. Golyalu. Chen Luo then drank the last cup of Fengling tea. Boom! The moment the last cup of Fengling tea was drunk, Chen Luo suddenly burst out with a fierce and unparalleled momentum. The entire cloud square seemed to be suppressed by Chen Luo's terrifying momentum. Everyone in the square felt their scalps tingling and their bodies trembling constantly. What happened? Why did such a strong momentum suddenly appear? Yeah, it's too scary, I feel like I'm going to be crushed into pieces. This momentum, is there a breakthrough from someone? It seems to be from the Tianzhu Peak Master. Is he a breakthrough? Everyone in the square whispered. Someone has already found the source of the power of heaven and earth, and trembled in the direction of Chen Luo. Mu Luoli beside Chen Luo felt even more frightened, as if facing the power of heaven. The overwhelming momentum made Mu Luoli pale, and she looked at Chen Luo with extremely shocked eyes. This momentum was too strong. After a while, the surrounding momentum slowly dissipated, and Chen Luo's cultivation successfully broke through to the 6th level of the Saint. Chapter 38 Primary Cultivation Bond. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Looking at Chen Luo, who had an unparalleled aura, Mu Luoli swallowed his saliva. Congratulations, Master, for your great improvement. Mu Luoli then congratulated Chen Luo obediently. Thanks to your Fengling tea, it seems that you really know that you were wrong. Chen Luo said with a slight smile. The breakthrough in cultivation made Chen Luo feel extremely happy. Mu Luoli's heart froze. Thanks to me. Chen Luo's breakthrough attracted the attention of many people, and many disciples' eyes changed when they looked at Tianzhu Peak. I thought it was a declining branch, but I didn't expect that the Peak Master was so strong. Moreover, Chen Luo doesn't look very old, and his appearance and temperament are first class. It attracted the attention of many trialists, especially those female trialists. It seems that the rumors are not true. This Tianzhu Peak is not simple. The momentum just now was too strong. The master of Tianzhu Peak is definitely an extremely powerful person. Yes, we underestimated Tianzhu Peak. I heard that the 3 disciples who climbed to the top all joined Tianzhu Peak. Is Tianzhu Peak the answer? Is it true? The 2 people who climbed to the top joined Tianzhu Peak. Oh my God, was there a mistake? I will also go to Tianzhu Peak to take a look. Maybe Tianzhu Peak is a real treasure branch. Everyone in the Cloud Plaza started talking about it and started to pay attention to Tianzhu Peak. There are already many trialists who are ready to see the situation in Tianzhu Peak and want to join them. Among them are some disciples with heavenly qualifications. There are more and more disciples under the Tianzhu Peak stone tablet. Master, your breakthrough just now attracted a lot of trialists, and more people want to join our Tianzhu Peak. Li Yener came to Chen Luo's side excitedly and said. Chen Luo nodded with satisfaction. It would be good to recruit more disciples. Ding, we have detected the host's strong desire to revitalize Tianzhu Peak, and we are now issuing a special mission. Special mission, please ask the host to increase the number of disciples in Tianzhu Peak to 100 as soon as possible. After reaching 100, the primary training bond will be opened. Elementary training bond, any disciple who joins Tianzhu Peak can return the same training effect to the host. The upper limit of primary training bond is 300 people. Note, this primary training bond cannot be superimposed with the master-disciple training effect. At this moment, the system notification sounded in Chen Luo's mind. Here comes another special mission. Recruiting 100 disciples can activate the cultivation bond, and all their cultivation effects will be returned to you. Not bad, although it is only an equal return, it is not bad. Moreover, this refund is not limited to disciple qualifications, which means that those below the rank of saint can also be refunded. This system is really powerful. In this way, the speed at which one becomes stronger can be greatly improved, and there is no need to practice on one's own. It's really cool that you can become stronger just by lying down. It's a pity that this bond is only elementary and can only bond 300 people. If it is an unlimited bond and recruits tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands, why not just take off? Chen Luo couldn't help but think about it. However, it is a pity that there can only be 300 people. Chen Luo is not too sad. 300 people are enough. There are 300 disciples helping me practice every moment, which makes me feel comfortable just thinking about it. Immediately afterwards, Chen Luo issued an order to Li Yener, asking Li Yener to recruit as many disciples as possible. He continued to rest on one side of the square, as time passes slowly. 3 hours later, Li Yener and others had recruited many disciples. Ding, congratulations to the host for completing the special mission. The primary training bond has been opened. The current number of bonded people is 101/300. The system notification sounded in Chen Luo's mind. Not bad, the mission has been completed and the training bond has been opened. After the cultivation bond was activated, Chen Luo felt that his cultivation speed had increased a lot. There are countless spiritual powers in the body that appear out of thin air and are constantly being regenerated in the body. Obviously, there are many disciples who have joined Tianzhu Peak and are working hard to train Chen Luo in the square. The sun was already setting at this time, and the setting sun shone on Chen Luo's unparalleled handsome face, making it look extremely soft. It made Chen Luo's temperament even more gentle. Master, there is a disciple with heavenly cultivation qualifications who wants to join our Tianzhu Peak, but he wants his cousin to join him too. Just when Chen Luo was resting comfortably, Li Yener came to Chen Luo's side, a disciple with Tianpin cultivation qualifications. Want his cousin to join in? Then let them join together. Chen Luo yawned and said casually, he is just a disciple with heavenly cultivation qualifications, so there is nothing to worry about. Master, there is something special about that disciple's cousin. Li Yener stood respectfully in front of Chen Luo and said hesitantly, special? There was something special about it. Chen Luo was a little confused. Sister, why is he so special? Does it mean that his cousin's qualifications are very low? Mu Luoli, who was massaging Chen Luo's shoulders, chuckled. To be able to get that disciple with a talent for cultivation to speak, it was obvious that his cousin's talent was not up to par. Chen Luo also looked at Li Yener in confusion, wanting to hear what Li Yener said was special about this disciple. Master, that disciple's cousin is immortal, and he can't even open his Qi Si. so he can't practice. Li Yener said softly with her cherry lips slightly parted. Humph, a mortal who can't practice, it's useless to recruit him into our Tianzhu Peak. He is just a disciple with a heavenly cultivation qualification. What qualifications does he have to make such a condition? Mu Luoli curled her lips and continued. However, that disciple said that his cousin is a genius of enlightenment, and has a very high talent for practicing various martial arts secrets. Li Yener ignored Mu Luoli's sarcasm and continued. Humph, a genius of enlightenment, can't practice, even if he is very powerful in enlightenment, it's useless. Mu Luoli pursed her lips, her face full of disdain. As the little princess of the Phoenix clan, Mu Luoli has seen many geniuses of all kinds, and she also knows that if you can't practice, any talent is just a joke. Genius of enlightenment. Chen Luo's eyes lit up. Is there such a guy? Unable to practice, but very talented in understanding martial arts secrets. Let's go see this enlightened genius first. Chen Luo immediately decided to go and see. It's just a mortal body. Chen Luo doesn't care. He was also a mortal body before, didn't he also take off? If this guy's comprehension is really exaggerated and worth cultivating, Chen Luo can let him use the Daoyuan Shengling pool. Then, Li Yener took Chen Luo to find the enlightened genius mentioned by the disciple. Chapter 39, Enlightenment of the Holy Body. You are listening at novelfull.audio. At the foot of Tianyan Mountain, there are still many trial participants here. After a day of climbing the ladder, many people have completely given up. There are also many people who are still trying to reach the 500th floor. Bang! A violent collision sounded, and a figure was blasted out of the ladder and crashed into a big tree not far away. Under the big tree, there was a boy in linen clothes. The boy's face was pale, and blood flowed from the corners of his mouth. His whole body was covered with bruises, and the linen clothes on his body were also worn out. Alas, this Wang Xian is still insisting. He has climbed hundreds of times, and he can't even step on the 10th floor of the ladder. What's the point of such persistence? Yes, with this persistence and perseverance, there are so many things that can't be done. He has to fight against Daotian sect to death. He has no hope. That's right, since he doesn't have the qualifications to practice, he should be an honest mortal. He has to do the impossible and get himself bruised and battered. The other people at the foot of the mountainside as they looked at Wang Xian who was struggling to get up. Wang Xian has been climbing the ladder since the beginning of the test. Wang Xian has no idea how many times he has climbed it, but each time it was extremely difficult, from being unable to enter at the beginning, to being able to step into the first and second floors later. After hundreds of attempts, Wang Xian can now climb the 10th floor, but the 10th floor, in the eyes of many test takers, is not even a threshold. After all, even a disciple with a yellow-grade cultivation talent can easily step into dozens of floors. The 10th floor is far from enough. Wang Xian struggled to get up, took a deep breath, and then walked towards the ladder firmly. Although his steps were shaky, every step was firm. Master, that mortal is the enlightenment genius that Wang Feng said. Not far from the foot of the mountain, Chen Luo, Li Yener, and Mu Luoli looked at the boy who was struggling to climb the ladder in the distance. Name, Wang Xian, age, 17 years old, realm, none, identity, bastard of the Wang family in Mingguang City, East Region, constitution, enlightened saint body, incomplete, qualification, none. Really a genius of enlightenment, an incomplete enlightened saint body. Chen Luo narrowed his eyes slightly. Wang Xian, who was not far away, ignored his injuries and the various words of the people around him. He just followed his own rhythm and kept climbing the ladder again and again. System, can the Daoyuan Shengling pool repair this saint body? Chen Luo then asked his system. The enlightened saint body is a top-level saint body, and has a very strong talent for comprehending martial arts, magical powers, and secrets. If this saint body can be repaired, and then let him help me comprehend martial arts, then my proficiency in various magical powers and secrets will take off. Ding, yes, but Wang Xian's enlightened saint body is too severely incomplete, and it needs to be soaked in the Daoyuan Shengling pool for a month before it can be repaired. Then, the system prompt sound rang in Chen Luo's mind. 1 month. Chen Luo frowned slightly. In 1 month, I can produce 4 saints. If it takes a month to repair his holy body, it will have a certain impact on the speed of his lying down and getting stronger. Let's go and see how strong this guy's comprehension is." Then, Chen Luo walked towards Wang Xian's location. "I have no strength left. Is it really over? I can't fall down. I still have my sister. I can't fall down like this." Wang Xian was once again blasted out by the terrifying impact. Countless impacts have made Wang Xian feel exhausted, and various injuries are constantly eroding Wang Xian's will. Wang Xian didn't know what he was insisting on. He doubted, questioned himself, and was confused, but he never stopped climbing. "I want to get up, I want to get up, I want to get up." Wang Xian's heart kept roaring, "But, I really have no strength left. Wah wah wah. At this moment, a mysterious spiritual power poured into Wang Xian's body. Wang Xian only felt that his whole body was in an extremely warm environment. The injuries in his body were slowly recovering. Wang Xian slowly opened his eyes, and what came into his sight was a handsome young man who looked like a banished immortal. Behind the young man were 2 stunningly beautiful women. "You, who are you?" Wang Xian struggled to get up. Although his physical injuries had been treated, the mental fatigue still made Wang Xian feel extremely tense. "I am the master of Tianzhu Peak. I heard from your cousin that you are a genius in enlightenment." Chen Luo then spoke lightly. With the arrival of Chen Luo and others, the other people around him retreated to the other side and did not dare to approach. It was the master of Tianzhu Peak, and Wang Xian's heart was pounding. "I didn't expect that my cousin would directly find the master of Tianzhu Peak to check on me. I don't dare to be a genius in sword enlightenment, I'm just more sensitive to martial arts secrets." Wang Xian suppressed his emotions and continued. "This is a Xian-level martial arts book. If you can comprehend it within a quarter of an hour, I can give you a chance to join Tianzhu Peak." Chen Luo then took out a Xian-level, wind-breaking fist, and handed it directly to Wang Xian. Wang Xian was stunned. If he comprehended martial arts, he could join Tianzhu Peak. "Yes, thank you for giving me this opportunity." Wang Xian clasped his fists and said. Then, Wang Xian took the secret book from Chen Luo's hand and began to comprehend it. Li Yan'er and Mu Luoli looked at the young man in front of them with interest. They were also quite curious about the genius of enlightenment. What kind of genius method was it? This opportunity must be seized, and Wang Xian's heart was determined. He visited countless sects in the past year. Almost all sects rejected him mercilessly. Seeing that he was immortal, they directly expelled him. Daotian's sect was his last chance and hope. "I thought I would lose even the last chance, but I didn't expect that in the end, there was a peak master who was willing to give me a chance to join." At this time, Wang Xian devoted himself to the martial arts given to him by Chen Luo. As Wang Xian devoted himself, a trace of wonderful power seemed to appear in Wang Xian's body. Li Yan'er and Mu Luoli did not find this power, but just waited on the side. Chen Luo had the mysterious formula of the Yen divine art, so he saw this power. Under the influence of this power, Wang Xian fell into a state of selflessness, constantly comprehending this martial art. It seems that although the Enlightenment Saint body is incomplete, it still retains extremely powerful power, Chen Luo thought in his heart. Chapter 40, Practice to Death. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Time passed slowly. After a while, Wang Xian closed the secret book given by Chen Luo. "Master Peak Master, I have already comprehended this martial art." Wang Xian took a deep breath, his eyes full of confidence. "It's been less than a quarter of an hour, and you have comprehended it." Mu Luoli next to him widened his eyes full of incredible looks. Although Xian-level martial arts are very low-level, they cannot be comprehended casually. This Wang Xian, just holding this secret book and reading it for less than a quarter of an hour, has comprehended it. "This is too fake." Li Yan'er stood quietly by the side without saying a word. "Then you practice it, I will lend you my spiritual power." Chen Luo raised his eyebrows, and then infused Wang Xian with a little bit of his own spiritual power. The terrifying spiritual power wandered in Wang Xian's body, and Wang Xian only felt that he was full of power, but this power was constantly eroding his body. What a powerful feeling, is this spiritual power? Wang Xian's heart was excited. although the spiritual power in his body was not his, this powerful feeling still made him addicted. Then, Wang Xian did not delay and quickly practiced the wind-breaking fist. Bang, bang, bang. Wang Xian used the wind-breaking fist he had comprehended and waved it in the forest. Suddenly, countless wind-breaking sounds rang out in the forest. I really comprehended it. Mu Luoli bit her lips slightly. The comprehension of this mortal was really terrifying. She had never seen anyone with such a strong talent in the Phoenix clan. It was a pity that she could not practice. Li Yener's eyes were also full of strange colors. Such a talent was really terrifying. It seems that this enlightened holy body is really a strong physique. Chen Luo's eyes lit up. It is just a broken body with such a strong comprehension. If it is fully restored. Chen Luo dared not imagine that if the cultivation effect was returned 10 times, it would be ready to take off. That's enough. Are you willing to join my Tianzhu Peak? Chen Luo continued to say to Wang Xian. At this time, Wang Xian had many cracks on his body, and the terrifying spiritual power almost tore his body apart. Although Chen Luo had tried his best to use gentle spiritual power, Wang Xian's body was too weak. Even if it was just a little bit, it almost tore everything of him apart. Wang Xian's body trembled slightly, and his eyes were full of excitement. Greetings to Master, I am willing. Wang Xian then bowed his head and kowtowed on the ground. Okay, get up, this is your senior sister, the fourth sister. Chen Luo then used spiritual power to help Wang Xian up, and at the same time took out 1,000-year-old spiritual fruit for Wang Xian to take to treat his injuries. Wang Xian then also respectfully saluted Li Yener and Mu Luoli. Then, the group quickly left the foot of Tianyun Mountain. Oh my goodness, Wang Xian was spotted by a master. That method must be from a master of the Daotian sect. Yes, Wang Xian is really lucky. He was spotted by a master before he even reached the 20th floor. His luck is amazing. That's right, that's right. I knew long ago that Wang Xian is not a simple guy. He must have a good fortune. As expected, he still needs to keep working hard. Stupid, that's not what you just said. Yuan build, what do you know? This is a different time. Many people at the foot of the mountain saw Chen Luo take Wang Xian away, and they made all kinds of discussions. They looked at the direction where Wang Xian left with great envy. With the arrival of night, the first day of the disciple recruiting ceremony has come to an end. Each branch has received a lot of disciples. Tianzhu Peak, which was originally quiet and sparsely populated, has also become more lively at this time. The newly joined disciples settled in various places in Tianzhu Peak. There are 110 disciples who joined Tianzhu Peak today. The number of people in Tianzhu Peak has also increased a lot, and noise can be heard everywhere. The main peak of Tianzhu Peak, many disciples who just joined Tianzhu Peak today are gathered here. Everyone is curiously looking at the surrounding environment. Their eyes are extremely enthusiastic. The spiritual energy of Tianzhu Peak is too rich. I practiced here for an hour, which is equivalent to a day of practice in the outside world. In other words, the concentration of spiritual energy here is more than 10 times that of the outside world. Yes, Tianzhu Peak is worthy of being a branch of Daotian sect. It is indeed a blessed land. Compared with the outside world, it is simply a fairyland. The spiritual power of Tianzhu Peak is already so rich. I wonder how strong the spiritual energy of the strongest Daotian peak is. I heard that the concentration of spiritual energy in Daotian Peak is only 2 or 3 times that of the outside world. What? The concentration of spiritual energy in Daotian Peak is only 2 or 3 times that of the outside world? It can't be. It's true, I heard it too. It seems that Tianzhu Peak is the deepest hidden branch of Daotian sect. We have found a treasure. The many disciples around talked about it, and the atmosphere was extremely warm. Many people joined Tianzhu Peak because they had no choice, but now the cultivation environment of Tianzhu Peak is so superior that they are all surprised and excited. Silence. Just when everyone was talking, a clear voice interrupted everyone's discussion. A handsome young man who looked like a banished immortal appeared in front of everyone. The young man was Chen Luo, while Li Yener, Hua Yuntian and others stood on both sides of Chen Luo, showing great respect. I am the leader of Tianzhu Peak, Chen Luo. First of all, I welcome everyone to join our branch of Tianzhu Peak. Chen Luo's voice resounded in everyone's ears. Everyone did not dare to move at all, and stood aside respectfully to listen to the training. Our Tianzhu Peak is a humane branch, and there will not be too many restrictions. As long as you don't harm your fellow disciples. Chen Luo then said some basic rules. Yener, pass on the things I prepared. After saying that, Chen Luo continued to say to Li Yener. Li Yener then took out a large number of identity tokens from her space ring, as well as more than 100 already printed exercises. Hua Yuntian and others also helped to pass these things on. This is my first gift to you, the best Earth-level exercise, 5-element Spirit Yuan Ju. Chen Luo said lightly. As soon as Chen Luo's words came out, the atmosphere of the entire mountain became extremely heated. Everyone was holding the skills in their hands tightly. They couldn't believe it. They were given a top-grade Earth-level skill as soon as they entered the sect. What kind of immortal branch is this? The top-grade Earth-level skill is extremely precious in any middle sect. Tianzhu Peak gives it as soon as you enter the sect. This is simply a huge pie in the sky. I don't want you to contribute to the task or anything. I only have one request. I have an unlimited supply of spiritual energy pills here. If you can't practice to death, practice to death.